On today's episode, we discuss plumbing and heating, big companies going out of business, motivation, our favorite podcasts, and landing in Canada.
Some of the biggest impacts in a community happen at the local level. We'll dive deep into the challenges local businesses face, their biggest achievements, and what they're doing to make a positive impact in their local community. It's time to get the word out right here on the Johnny Miller Audio Experience, powered by Veracity Storage. Now, welcome your host, the man himself, Johnny Miller.
Welcome, ladies and gents. This is Johnny Miller, and you're listening to the Johnny Miller Audio Experience, powered by Veracity Storage, Episode 3. Today's guest has an associate's degree in sales, marketing, and business management from Minnesota State Community and Technical College. Currently, he is an experienced outside sales specialist with a primary focus on plumbing and heating. He excels in customer service, sales, and leadership. He is a strong sales professional who believes in the true power of positive relationships. Our guest today, my friend, JT Froning. Hey guys, it's Johnny Miller here. I just want to cut in really quick, let you guys know before the episode starts with JT, we just had a little bit of audio technical difficulties. It's not too bad, but listen up, follow along. This episode is 100% fire. What's going on,
hey,
man?
Johnny, how are you, man? Living, man, living,
dude,
loving it here.
Your guest number 3, how's that make you feel?
3's a good number.
Awesome.
Times it by 2, that's 6. That's my favorite number, man.
So the thing we start every podcast with is the drink of the day. So we have a little grab bag here, drinks. We have, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different drinks. I got obviously the water. We got, we have, what is that? We have Diet Coke, we have Diet Mountain Dew, we have JT's favorite Monster energy drinks. I think I have a couple Busch Lights in there. And in the back I have the Morgan if we want to roll with Morgan Diets. I don't know if you drink those, but so basically you pick the drink and then I share it with you. It's called the drink of the day. It's pretty simple. Which one do you want to roll with?
That one's pretty easy for me there, Johnny.
Dude, you're going with Busch Light?
We're going to go with the Busch.
Awesome, dude. Let's crack these then. Alright, man.
Busch.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my man. Thanks for
being on the
having me.
And what I usually do is ask our guests to kind of give a little background for, we probably have maybe like 3 or 4 listeners at this point of being episode 3. Maybe you'll be one. So
they're in for a treat.
Yeah, so basically the people who kind of don't know what you do, where you came from, why don't you just give us a little bit of background of how you got where you are today?
Perfect, yeah. So my name is JT Froning. I'm born and raised in the great city of Fargo. Never left. I always kind of wondered. Went to Lewis and Clark, to Agassiz, to Discovery, to the big whopping Fargo South, and then on to M-State after taking a short break in between.
So you're at Fargo South. What year did you graduate?
2006.
Oh, look
and
at you,
John, what year were you?
I graduated in 1996, so we're exactly 10 years. Is that right? No.
That's a decade, 96 to 2006.
How old are you?
I am 30. How old are you?
Dang, I thought you were a little bit older than that. So you're going to be 31 this year, right?
31 in June.
Yeah, I'm 41. So damn, I am old.
We're pacing.
You might be one of my younger friends that I got.
I appreciate that.
Pretty good. All right, so you went to Fargo South. You graduated in 2006.
Yes, I did. I took a break between school, so right when I graduated, I was over at Shields on 13th Avenue one day talking to an ex-grad buddy of mine, and he convinced me into becoming an Al Bundy. So I applied for Shields in the shoe department and got hired on. And during that 2-year break before going to M-State, it was great, man. I kind of say that I got an associate's degree in sales and marketing with a minor in customer service from Shields. I really pride what they've done there on a lot that I learned. And looking back, I probably didn't appreciate everything that they did in regards to goal setting, managing your time, emphasis on the customer and the culture of a company. That was brushed off your shoulders because you had different agendas, but reflecting now, it's a holy moly.
Dude, you are a salesman at heart, man. So you're in shoe sales. How is that?
Shoe sales
you just
are great.
seem like you should. You just seem like a guy who should sell shoes.
My dad happens to still call me Bundy, so Bundy is ingrained in me, and I loved it. I did just over $1.75 million worth of shoes in 5 years.
Good
So
lord.
we're pumping shoes.
And that was kind of, what year was that then? So that was
That
kind of
was 06
before
to 2011.
So like the internet shoe buying was not really on the cusp
Nope,
yet.
Zappos was new. Tom's was kind of coming up revolutionary with the donation piece. But yeah, online didn't affect, and still has not affected, what Shields is trying to do. I mean,
Shields in general.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously affected the shoe industry, but probably not what Shields doing. Awesome. So that got you to what year? So that got you to...
So that got me, so started at Shields in 06, took a few years off, and then went to M-State, and then I finished my journey at Shields in 2011. And then after that, it was kind of that, okay, you're a big boy now, you graduated.
Yep.
Time to get a full-time job. And so cars has always been appealing to me, right? I mean, a salesman is always referred to as a slimy car salesman, right? So why not go see what that's all about? So I hopped over to Corwin for just over a year. That's where I really learned the art of the no, right? So I got super comfortable with being said no to, kind of controlling the process. That's kind of how you sell cars. Just owning the entire, the gateway or the series that needs to take place to sell a car. And then that was good enough. And then actually one of my teachers from M-State reached out to me and she said, hey, there's this company that came to M-State. They're, they work with the plumbing and heating department, but they're looking for salespeople. And at that point, as good of a salesman as I think I am, I was kind of drowning in car sales. Just couldn't sustain an income. And so I said, yes, please. And I showed up at Ferguson one day and I was doing an interview with my boss, and there was golf pictures on the wall, and I said, well, this place is kind of cool. I wouldn't mind working here, not knowing what pipe valves and fittings do. And through a series of multiple interviews, got offered the job locally, and then declined corporately, which was interesting because you get offered something and then they take it away. That was kind of a shit, right? Experience. Yeah. But that was because I didn't meet the corporate criteria, right? I'm an associate's degree, I don't have a 4-year degree.
Right.
Their requirement is a 4-year, which goes to show that's just a smokescreen.
Which is ludicrous in today's age, like the whole degrees and whatever. You look at some of the most successful entrepreneurs or anybody in the world, they're basically college dropouts.
Right.
It's whatever. There's a value to college, I get it, especially for certain industries, but a lot of the time it's just like, what are you going to learn on your job, on the job experience, on the job training, a lot of times.
And I would totally agree with you. I guess the only thing I would miss would be that really high rent that would be to be in a frat house, right? I mean, that experience of that fraternal brotherhood and dorm life. But outside of that...
Definitely. So what's crazy is we kind of talked about this the other day, that we actually started at Ferguson basically the same time.
Right.
I only started I think my training was a couple weeks later. Because
I was August 1.
I was on the golf tournament. Yep. Yeah. That's crazy, and I was on the credit side of whole things. I got hired as credit, but I literally totally forgot that and you're still there today. And then how long ago? That was 2000. Was that? 12?
2012. Yep.
Yeah.
So I remember I was driving on my route the other day, thinking about what you just brought up, and I remember the first time you kind of came walking over. I think Randy was going to introduce you to me, and I should talk to Randy about this, but he had me counting screws out of a box of 1,000. I don't know what the purpose was.
They were just giving you busy work.
Count these screws. Let's see if you can, And then you came, and I think we got sidetracked, and that was... So thank you for that, actually.
So whatever happened, so you counted all the screws, then what did you tell? You could have just made up some crazy number.
It's like 796 to me.
He's not going to count. That's crazy. Oh, so that gets you basically... 2012, you got anything else to add, or that's
2012? I joined the Ferguson family, and at that time, I would have just had my first child, Ella, who's now 7, which is awesome. Right. And then, so that was pivotal time in my life. I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty and scarcity. Well, yeah, I worked with that. But life is a journey, and we'll talk more about it in a little bit. But everything that's ever happened to me has been based off of a relationship. So for Michelle to step in a time where I was kind of going, the wrong way per se, and that was a call, 2 years down the road from, you know what I mean? That if you create a lasting relationship, you don't know when that's going to come back to pay it back, right? You know what I'm saying?
You never know.
So that was cool, and I'm indebted to Michelle Epson for setting me up with Ferguson.
That was your Ferguson referral?
She was my Ferguson. She was my
Who is
customer
she?
service
Okay,
teacher at M State.
Oh, she was at M State?
Yep, she was the teacher, and then Tom Bevins, who you met briefly,
I met him.
gracefully was his last hire before he passed, which is unfortunate because he had a Chris Farley effect.
Yeah, right. So wow, that kind of leads you right up to now. You're kind of crushing the plumbing and heating industry there at Ferguson. What is there anything interesting about that field or that industry? What do you got for us?
Outside of that Fargo economy is just as good as it gets, right? We're kind of recession proof, so we've been yielding the benefits of that for a few years. We still have that dynamic of an ever changing demographic of customer, right? So dads are getting older, sons are taking over, or there's not even a son in place. So you're dealing with two types of people. Ones that don't really grasp change, which we all are guilty of not embracing it as much as we need to. And then, so dealing with the aging market, but then kind of feeding into the younger market. It's been great. Fargo is just booming, but that's the biggest challenge I have is that I wasn't in the space, right? So I came into an uncharted territory because I didn't grow up plumbing, heating, pipe fitting, hanging duct, whatever. So I have to heavily rely on the people piece, and I pretty much lay that out to my guys, and they don't just become customers of mine; they become friends in lifelong relationships, so that it's not transactional selling, it's relationship selling, and that's the biggest piece that I deal in.
Yeah, and that kind of makes you a little bit different than anybody else that's trying to probably sell to them. There's a couple things. You got that the customer service, never dies, right?
Right.
Like, people love the customer service. The interesting thing is the technologies part of it is really interesting in a plumbing, heating, and HVAC industry, right? Like, it's kind of just catching up now. Like you said, the sons are starting to take over for the dads. The sons coming in maybe in their 30s or 40s. They're more, technical advanced, right? So they're having iPads out in the field and stuff. So it's really cool to see the industries kind of, they have to adapt. They have to adapt to these technology advances or they're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to balance the dad who's still kind of the stronghold of the business and the son kind of take over and they're trying to work. I know I kind of experienced that when I was at Ferguson. I was running, the Ferguson Online in the e-business division. And wow, it was just crazy to see you sit down kind of in like a board meeting like this and you got the dad and the son and everybody else and like some people are just like, this isn't for me, over their head, and the younger generation is just kind of like, yeah, this is awesome. We can do all this from our desk. We don't have to, call in. We don't have to do this. It's an interesting industry to see the ebbs and flows of technology.
It's so true, yes, because it's the son's chomping at the bit and the dad's going, no, son, we've been doing this for years, the old sacred cow. Well, we know what we think about the sacred cow.
When anybody tells me, if you ask them, why do you do things this way, and they say, that's how we've always done it, there is nothing that grinds my gears more. Like, that is such a wrong answer. Like, you want to fail? Do things like how you've always done it, right?
Yes.
Well, why don't we just use Blockbuster? We were just talking about Blockbuster. Let's just use them as an example. There's you look at a couple of the stories of Blockbuster, and they basically had a board meeting right before streaming was coming out, and they had they were talking about online streaming and mail service, like giving DVDs in the mail. When Netflix first came out, you would get DVDs, and there was just a couple young guys that were in the board meeting, and they said, I think we should do this. This is a great idea. And the older board members basically said they did their own survey. So you basically could do research and surveys to match whatever your agenda is.
For sure.
So they basically had a survey, or they had a report that said people love to go into Blockbuster and stroll around and look at the movie cases. They like to read the back of the DVD box, and they like to, and this is literally from the quote, they like the serendipity of possibly running into their neighbors, and they like to buy popcorn. We're talking in the early 2000s, maybe it was late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
This is a report where they went against doing online streaming. They should be the Blockbuster. They should be the Netflix, the Hulu, the whole shebang. They should be everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So they literally, because they thought that this is how we've always done things, and they had their own report. And these two young kids just came in, and then everybody knows now what happened with Netflix. Every industry is like that. they're all gonna be like, in all the podcasts here, they're gonna get eaten up by the internet. Like, it's gonna take over everything.
Right. So take that sacred cow, let's bring him out back, and let's put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
And move on.
It's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I could literally rant about like technology and businesses doing things that.
Well, Kodak had they had the digital camera, but what about film sales?
Toys R Us, like they did the same thing. They're out of business. Like these business after business after. Here's another one. Sears. Back before the internet, there was a thing called the Sears catalog. The Sears catalog was Amazon. Like in a catalog.
Yeah.
Like Sears should be Amazon. It shouldn't be the other way around. Like Amazon bought Whole Foods, right? I think it was, I'm off on the numbers, but when Amazon started, Whole Foods was like $100 million company. It was millions, right? And Amazon started from zero. And now Amazon bought Whole Foods. It should have been the other way around, right? Like Whole Foods should have bought Amazon.
Right, yeah.
Like the same thing. And then all these other businesses are going out of, or all these other businesses are closing down. What I saw Payless Shoes here in the shoe industry.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like how many stores?
Biggest shutdown of the year.
2,000 to 3,000 stores nationwide.
And I saw a graph on Monday that showed all the major retailers. So name them. This is in the graph. The Nikes of the world, the Adidas, the JCPenney's, every single one of them in this graph. It showed year-to-year growth, right? So they were up 20%, all of them combined, to kind of inflate the numbers. So 20% is good. Everyone's happy. That was a good shopping year.
Of
all the that's a good retail year. If they're up 20%, that's relatively good. Amazon was on the right. They did $400 million last year. They did $800 million this year. They doubled.
Yeah.
They completely.
It's taking over.
They took over.
That's why I say they're eating everything, man. The internet's winning.
And we have this.
Actually.
Yeah, we have this complex of where some of our manufacturers are going to Amazon and saying, "Hey, what if we move product through you? What does that look like? Can we piggyback on you?" So we have this dynamic where we've strategically placed ourselves into good move. We move a lot of product very quickly, which will be our saving grace when we have Amazon that's apparently moving it quicker, and that's the dynamic. And then having plumbing and heating guys say, hey, just buying it from Amazon, what's left of the wholesale.
Well, I'm pretty sure Amazon's having their own shipping, right? They're coming out with Amazon
their own
shipping.
Trucks, yeah.
Like that'll just
buy the routes.
Crazy. Yeah, could do a whole segment on that. It's like taking over, and it's just kind of business, man. It's like how it's always been. If you don't adapt, like. You could use the example of at some point, someone owned the majority of horse and buggies, right? They owned a majority of that, and that before the automobile, and that's what they were making their money off of, selling those. And then the automobile came along. Like they have to adapt. Like the same thing with kerosene lamps and electricity. Like it's like history is just repeating itself. It's just in a different form. You have to adapt. So. That was a huge soapbox on just saying if a business tells you this is how we've always done it.
No sacred cows.
Yes, I love that. Wow, that was great. Well, that's a perfect segue into something I know you're passionate about is positivity in relationships, right? Tell me how you kind of got into that or something, how it motivates you, and then you can even move on to like how you use that or incorporate that into your customers. I know it's kind of all in one.
So, first and foremost,
wait. Before you get into that, I forgot to give this to you. I have a gift, actually. We just got these Veracity storage hats.
Oh, man.
They're fitted.
Fitted?
Gray. They look really cool. You have to check them out online if you guys are listening.
Veracity storage.
That's our podcast sponsor is Veracity. So there you go. That looks good, dude.
You got it?
Gray with the kind of the green NDSU.
Like
I'm an
it?
NDSU fan, so that's good.
Bison?
Awesome. So I forgot to give it. I was going to give that to you right after the drink of the day.
And I owe you a super thank you, right, for supporting my future wife, Brenda.
Oh, do you hear that?
Yeah, future wife.
Oh, wow.
So for the $500 donation you and Veracity, the team made, man,
cheers.
that's like incredible.
Cheers. No problem. Yeah,
it means the world to us.
Veracity does a lot of cool things like that. We obviously love supporting the community. Kind of that's what this podcast is all about. I'm looking to get, current and local business owners that are just kind of trying to spread the word and have other people learn about their business. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing. We also give it, obviously that thing for Brenda, the Lutheran Church, the mission statement to Ethiopia, simple for us. Another big thing we do is the Care for Kids. So it's
I
it's
applaud you,
so fun
man.
to give
It's just,
back, dude.
Impact.
It's
The
awesome.
impact is real.
Yeah, so that was the whole basis, like I said, about this podcast. It's kind of twofold. On the selfish side, is I get to, like, I'm literally learning from every industry. Like, and all these people who excel at their fields, I'm just like absorb. Like, I just get all this knowledge. It's so great. And on the other side, like, you get to promote yourself. You get to promote your business, kind of what you believe in. We're promoting Ferguson, kind of the HVAC and plumbing industry. So, and then anybody who's interested in that can certainly listen along. And if there's anybody else who owns some businesses and interested in doing something like that, awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I appreciate the shout out, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so the positivity in relationships, that's kind of
all right. Yeah, so that's kind of, I was born with a blood type B positive, so that's definitely aided in my positive growth.
I gotta start getting blood types for everybody.
Yeah, B positive, gotta love it. And so I just learned at an early age from my social being that at the end of the road, I don't think it's the dollars you look back on, it's the relationships you made, right?
Absolutely.
And so on the positive side of that, like, I truly believe that 80% of people don't care about your problems, and 20% are glad you have those problems.
That's true, there are some cynical people.
Yeah. So you have a choice there. You can be negative and put your burden on others, or you can be the light. And I've always chosen to be the light and to be positive and just suffice it that way. I've read some great books. One that always comes to mind that was kind of a needle mover for me was The Energy Bus by John Gordon.
Oh, dude, I have that book. Didn't I borrow that to you? Or did you borrow it to me?
I think I borrowed it to you.
Yeah, that's
and you crushed it.
I also have, I think I might have got the audio version of it too. I do have the audio version. I need to listen to that again. You kind of forget. The biggest thing, obviously, in that whole takeaway from that is the energy vampires, right?
Right.
Like, literally just disassociate yourself with anybody and any negativity and just surround yourself with positive people. It's like literally the easiest thing to do.
Yep. Be careful who gets on your bus, right? They drive your own bus. I can get you sick, but I can't get you healthy.
Right.
Energy vampires get you sick.
You can't control who knocks on your front door, but you can control who you let in.
For sure.
Simple concept.
Yep. So it's just aid in bed, surround yourself with good people, but then be that light. Like, be it to others, because there's too much darkness in this world. And so on that side, that's just a lot of positivity comes natural. It's just reminding yourself what's your attitude like today? Like, what part of the puzzle do you want to be on? So that's these relationships. Like I said, man, that is. I just try and cultivate and grow relationships. I just feel like through others' journeys, we're all on our own journey. But if we combine our lives and our journeys and like you said, you can learn from others.
Absolutely.
No one likes a know-it-all.
Yeah, learning from people it's like a never-ending process. So you basically have that awesome, kind of the positivity and relationship thing that I talk about, and you kind of incorporate that into customers. That makes a big difference, right?
And I lay it all out there, so they know pretty much early on in the relationship, my history, where I came from, where I stand, what I believe in, and what I would like to accomplish with them in their business. So I want to take them from A to B. I don't want to just sell. Everyone's selling boxes. We all sell similar products, but what do I do differently from A to B? How can I help them accomplish their goals and grow their business? Right. And of course, I have two types of customers. I have professionals and amateurs. I truly believe I don't really have any middle ground. The professionals, they want you there. They want to tell you. They want to be honest. Amateurs like to hide and withhold, and it's just finding those. It's kind of like the energy bus thing. You gotta, those ones that you pour all the way into, you grow together. My wealth grows, their wealth. I mean, because everyone's working for a dollar.
Right.
But my impact grows, and I truly think that this day and age, we're not working for dollars. We're working for impact. Where are we going? Why are we going there? And how are we going to get there?
Absolutely.
That's the ticket.
And honestly, the words are true. Like, the person, they're buying from you, not the company, right? Like, they're buying from you as the person because they believe in you. That you work for Ferguson, whoever you work for, if you were leaving, if you build that relationship, whatever company you go to, they're probably going to follow you along.
Right.
So, that's all about building a relationship. So.
And one thing that was actually a little early on into I kind of went through the channels of Ferguson, but I had to really balance when I was kind of at our counter, which is kind of that day-to-day transaction stuff, and then into that outside sales role. I really, really, really got good at transactional selling. I mean, really good.
Yeah.
Selling you this pen right now, today, you're gonna buy it, you're gonna move on, you're gonna leave. I might not see you again, but I made a sale, and I made a quick sale. So I'm turning and burning. And then to balance that now to B2B sales, where it's a business to a business, and it isn't all about selling the pen today, it's about selling a box of pens tomorrow.
Right.
Growing that.
Right.
And then, so you can't be mischievous, you can't be dishonest, you can't, not that I would, but that's not an option. You won't survive. So it's saying, hey, I'm here for the long haul. Where do we want to go? And let's go together. It's a partnership.
Yeah, and I mean, just, being yourself and, helping out customers, like, life gets really easy when you're just, like, yourself, because then you never have to put on an act. You're just always yourself. Other people might not like some things or, dislike some things or like some things. If you're always yourself, I mean, it's it's a lot easier.
There's 4 personality types. Not all of them jive together.
I like it. I like your positive energy. I kind of like where you're going with that. I'm going to jump to a different segment. Kind of the same. It might be the same. There might be some of that incorporated in there. You got any favorite podcasts that you like?
Oh boy, do I ever.
You got to have a couple that are motivational. Where are you getting this stuff?
So yeah, a lot of this stuff I have to really give full credit to Entree Leadership, which is essentially a spinoff of Dave Ramsey on the financial side. But Entree Leadership, all we live, eat, breathe is entrepreneurs and leadership, and we smash it together. And we bring on the best of the best. It's the Simon Sinek's of the world, the Patrick Lencioni's, the John Gordons. Lou Holtz was on. Wow, he's actually an incredible speaker.
That's cool.
It just, the list goes on and on. I mean, from Ken Blanchard on, and so that comes out weekly, and they touch every piece of the puzzle. It is
amazing,
next level. I don't know if there could be anything else better out there. I mean, outside your podcast, of course.
Yeah.
It's in its infancy stages.
Right.
I mean, come on. So
the market will decide, man. I mean, we can think it's cool, but the market will decide.
Yes,
and this will be the Fargo-Moorhead market, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, I'm not familiar with anybody really in the area doing, I mean, there are people that are doing podcasts and they're doing they're kind of very narrow.
Yep.
I'm kind of going a little more broad. I mean, I'm narrow in the fact that it's business oriented and for entrepreneurs and people who are kind of have that tendency, but it is very broad in the fact that, I mean, I'm going to have, I have real estate on. I had a guy, obviously Dusty, my other partner, who's in, he was in sprinkler fitting, and now he does network cable servicing. You're in outside sales for heating and plumbing. I'll have, owners of restaurants on, and sales industries, and marketers. So all the industries in Fargo, so I'm going really broad. Again, that comes back to my selfishness, or I can just learn about all these
and
things.
I like that you're going to do it natural. So it's just going to morph and adapt and kind of go with the flow. And I think that's where the genuine trueness comes from, is just that natural progression.
Yeah, to me, it's just fun.
And then we're going to reverse it one day, and you're going to be the guest. And then
we'll see.
I'll
be a guest at some point. That'll be kind of
get the Johnny Miller story.
So you like Entree Leadership?
Love Entree Leadership.
Got another one?
I mix in a few of the Joe Rogans here and there. The length gets a little long for me. 45 minutes is a sweet spot. Outside of that, I'm kind of diehard, man. Entree
Well,
Leadership.
you know my two basically, right?
The Gary V, right? Yeah, the Gary V.
Crush the Gary V. Not only just the Gary V audio experience. His is cool. So my two are obviously the Gary V audio experience, and then the Joe Rogan experience. The cool thing, they're a little bit different actually. The cool thing, what I like about Joe Rogan, is he has just basically the best of the best in their industry, just unique, amazing people. And his podcasts go from an hour to he's had 6-hour podcasts.
That's unreal.
I literally listened to one that was 4 hours the other day.
Just the other day.
Yeah, just doing shit around the house, listening to a podcast. That's amazing. That's how easy it is. So that's kind of his set. So I'm basically kind of taking what he does on a national level and making it regional. Again, mine are going to be around that 40-minute mark usually. And then the Gary V, which his are literally, we're talking, what he does is he doesn't actually have just a podcast. He actually snips all his material off of maybe when he did a public speaking, when he had a client, when he's doing the, he has the Gary V show. So he's just pulling stuff off of there and then just doing the audio off of it. His can be 7 minutes to an hour. Like, so some days, like, I'm in my office here and I just hit play, and like I might listen to 10, 12 of them because some of them were only like 10 minutes.
Right.
So sometimes you hear the stuff and it filters out, but sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I mean, that's really cool.
What he's doing is incredible. He's an innovator.
Like, no one is even touching what he's doing for marketing. It's just mind-blowing. He's putting out like thousands of pieces of content a day. Like, the amount of the size of the team you need, and he's just a badass. But when you talk about that, I actually heard two things that he said today that I think will really intrigue you. When they were talking about it, I was like, oh, JT should hear this. I think he'd be. The first thing he said, we're talking about ideas, right? So people talk about ideas and how it's a world of action, not contemplation. So you need to execute. We talk about this all the time. Right. Execute. What he said on the podcast, he says, get your homies together. It could be 2, 3, 4 guys, all come up with ideas. Put 9 of the ideas in a hat, pick one, and start the next day. Woo! He said this is a world of action, not contemplation. So literally think about that. If you just had the ideas in a hat, you picked one and you just execute. Because businesses fail all the time. And it's literally like there's millions and billions of ideas, but there's very few people that actually execute on those ideas. Right. So when I heard him say that, I was like, holy shit, that's like mind-blowing to me.
That's and like you putting a mirror in front of me.
Get like me and a bunch of friends together, and I want to just do that. Try it. Like, imagine if you just did you tried like 10, 15 different things. They could all fail, but you could hit that one. Right. Just knock it out of the park. I mean, it's just cool because people aren't executing. So that really resonated. When I heard that today, and this was this morning, I was like, I gotta tell JT this. The other one is, it's about Fridays, right? Everybody on all social media, on all Facebook, Instagram, they're like, hey, it's Friday, right? So he said, and this is really, it's harsh, but it is true. This is the great thing about Gary Vee. He's a truth teller, right? He said, if you generally celebrate Friday, you need to rethink your entire fucking game.
For sure.
Right? If you're like so freaking happy for Friday, because what happens when you celebrate Friday? You dread Sunday night because now Monday is coming.
Right.
And honestly, for me, like, this resonates for me because it's not that I like hate it for because so bad, but I just knew that like I could do more, and I wanted to do more, and I wanted to have the freedom. And everybody's like, oh, Mondays, and then we had that Monday call, and I was just like, oh, I'm just dreading this. Not that it was just like, oh, I hate life and this sucks, but like I just knew that that wasn't like what I want. Now, like, I don't even care what day it is. Yeah. It's like, is it Wednesday or Friday? Like, I don't, it's like, to me, like, coming into the office, doing my, everybody has good and bad days, but like, for me, coming here to my office and doing my grind and something I'm passionate about, business, and there's a weird thing, right? Like, obviously I'm focusing on promoting self-storage and then getting sales, but like, it's mine, so it's like easy to be motivated to do it. It's not storage at all, right? Because if someone hired me to work at a storage company, I'd be like, this is terrible, right? But it's the fact that it's like, it's mine. Like, this is my business, and it's like so easy to work for yourself. And they always say, like, even when, and I think good leaders and good managers, when you hire somebody, especially if you're the owner, you can never expect them to work as hard as you. Or like, it's human nature. Anyway, this beer, dude, I'm cutting it. This is good. I don't drink beer. I'm not a beer drinker. I can literally count on my hand how many beers I've had in the last 2 years.
Is it 3?
Cheers. I probably had like 5.
Because I'm the third guest. I mean, that'd be...
No, it's not. Damn. But like, I don't drink beer, but it's tasting pretty good.
So, spinning off of
anyway,
that...
where was I? It was something about, oh yeah, working for yourself.
Working for yourself, passion products. So, I don't know if I heard, we got some weather coming in. Oh. I don't know today if I heard more about the weather or that generic, it's Friday, that little bit of hope in someone's voice. It's like, come on, guys, there's more to it. You're in a spot where I think the latest stat is 70% of people hate their jobs. 3 out of 4 Americans dislike what they do. Sure, I don't know where that pendulum shifted, where, like, I know I'm doing what I need to be doing. I know I need to be in sales because that's just who I am. The variable is the product, right? Yeah. Like, that's the ever-changing model for me. But what happened in the 80s or 90s or early, where we just, like, you graduated and you got the safest job possible and you just regretted it for the next 40 years. Like, I don't know where that happened.
Well, life is a little bit, it's more fast-paced, right? Right now. The internet happened is the main thing, right? I mean, people can be really successful at just about anything. Like, there's not a time in human history where you can be more successful. I mean, I'll use myself as a classic example. I mean, we're basically running a self-storage facility on the backs of technology, where we have, 289 units, 18 parking spots, 4 heated, a big office. We're on about 4 or 5 acres. I run it by myself with technology. We have an online platform that we do all our rentals. I have an electronic lease agreement. We have, authorized credit cards and a third party encrypted. They can do all their payments. I do everything through text, emails, online chat. Like, I'm basically doing, 30 years ago, it would take 5 or 6 people because they'd have to come in the office. You have to do lease agreements. You have to show them up. It's technology. So you can be so successful now. You even branch off of that. You look at, you have Instagram celebrities. People would make money just off Facebook. I showed you this app the other day, TikTok. There's 13-year-old girls and boys that have 4 million followers on TikTok, and they're making second videos. So right now, there's no time in history than you can be successful. But it's just so fast paced, and then what's the next thing, and everybody's trying to keep up. But yeah, the days of going to high school, going to college, working for a company for 30, 40 years, getting your pension doesn't even exist. Literally, in 15 years, if you ask a kid, they don't even know what pension means.
Right. And if you got one, you better start planning.
And then obviously, the 401k is kind of, the thing for companies now. I mean, who knows if that goes away? You could have self-directed, retirement plans. It's just it's evolving really fast, and you have to jump on board, man.
They say in the next 100 years we're going to change, or more than 200 years. So the rate of change is 200 times in the next. Just think of it's just going to keep picking up speed.
Yeah.
And then this all kind of, I don't know why Elon Musk is on my mind, but it all goes back to kind of that AI where he's talking on the Joe Rogan Experience. Listen, we can't legislate and catch up fast enough now. AI, one night, will just take over. Which is kind of spooky, and I know we can get way off kilter here.
I mean, it'll take over. There'll be certainly industries that are affected by it big time. I kind of talked to Dusty about this on the last episode. Obviously, it's really going to crush, the trucking industry and, transportation. It's, going to be, game over, right? You're going to have Amazon's just about got them. I was reading a thing, I think these numbers are pretty close. I think it's the trucks that they have right now, the automated trucks, are 92 to 95% efficient, meaning 5% of the time they'll just crash into something or go off the road, which is that's not gonna work, right? But in general, so what they're gonna do right away is they're gonna have basically an automated truck, which will be just on interstates, and they'll actually have someone sitting in it, that'll be the trucker for the first few years. He'll be in it to drive through cities or take over. So that'll be for a little bit, and then technology will get better, and then eventually they'll have someone kind of just Skype into the truck. Someone will just Skype into the truck. You'll have a guy sitting in an office like this, and he'll be driving the truck whenever any issues come out. That'll be a few years, and then after that it'll be fully autonomous. And that won't be too. So then you're gonna have these guys that are 40, 50 years old that are truckers. What are they gonna do? And this all kind of goes into the reason why we're talking about this now is they were talking about basic income, how they're gonna maybe have to go to a basic income where every citizen that's a United States citizen that's paying their taxes, not a criminal, gets $1,000 a month, just to kind of keep society going as technology gets more and more advanced. So it's a lot of this stuff is maybe way down the road, and some of it might not be. We don't know.
It's closer than we think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's way safer to have people not driving trucks. Once they get that technology down, there'll be so few accidents. And think about those trucks; they can never stop. Right now, what can a truck driver drive? 12, 14 hours, max.
12 hours.
And then I mean, you look at the long-standing detriment to the health of truck drivers. You're sitting in a truck. It's terrible. It has to be one of the toughest jobs out there. I mean, not tough in as but on your
physical,
body.
right?
It's Oh my God, I couldn't imagine.
And the temptation. I mean, just think of what these truck stops are filled with.
How do you have a family? Like you're
Yeah.
always gone?
Oh, that'd be a whole different ball game.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So anyway, a lot of that stuff we're talking about, I was going to actually start a new section this week, or this podcast called the Motivational Section of the Day. That was basically it right there.
I didn't
All
catch
that
that.
stuff we talked about. Some of that stuff might have come off kind of negative though, but like, you got to spin it in a positive way. Like, you got to get on board. Like, it's going to happen. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like...
What side of it are you going to
I'm
be
not
on?
saying that, you know, the robots are going to take over.
You
and
can
kill
either
us,
create the wave, ride the wave, or get
Right.
crushed by the wave.
Right. What else you got? This guy is so detailed. You got any other notes there? Any
Oh,
other
I
thing
got
you gotta
notes.
talk
I
about?
got notes and tidbits.
What else you want to talk about before I get to my next section? You got anything you want to throw in there?
You just got to get 1% better every day, man.
1% better
Every day. Because growth compounds.
That's amazing. What if I could do that in my golf game?
1%. What if I could do that?
You,
I still got a long way to go.
I could fix your golf game. You know I got that golf simulator.
Yeah, we should probably, yeah.
I could get you. There's a lot of things.
So when I wrote, because I'm a note taker and you told me to kind of prep for this, I wrote my hobbies and I wrote
I actually told you don't prep for it.
I wrote
Just-
bogey golf / nature walks. Because that's kind of what I'm doing. Like
so your goal is bogey golf?
I mean, I would call me a bogey golfer now.
Actually, you're one of the best simulator golf. You're actually between between simulator golf at Golf Addictions and your real golf. You have the biggest
Spread.
despair. Oh my God! Like no wonder you crushed the Golf Addictions League. You're like I would say like legitimately you're probably like a 20, 25 handicap, right, in golf.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're like a 10 or something on like Golf Addictions, right? You're like shooting the 30s for 9 holes. What a sandbag. That's unbelievable. I've seen you play on there. And speaking of that, you see what I shot at Golf Addictions?
Oh, I
the
saw,
other day?
what was it,
64.
Jeez,
That was pretty
you
sweet.
shouldn't be allowed to go. What was your first car, by the way? I know we're a decade.
My first car ever?
Ever.
I got a car when I was 16. I got a job at the Frying Pan working as a
Ooh.
dishwasher, making $5.25 an hour. This question, I thought it was so cool.
$5.25 an hour?
Yeah, this was 1994.
I thought I was getting paid like
Or
three something.
1993. I got $5.25.
I think I worked at Culver's at like
No, you're
$3.50.
getting jip, man. You
I
probably
didn't
didn't
provide
ask
value.
for. No, I got $5.25.
Wow.
Anyway, so I had to like give my paychecks to my parents, but they gave me their car. It was a 1977 Oldsmobile Delta 88. It was a freaking boat. Like I'm not big now, but I was like really small. We're talking when I was 16, I was probably like 5'4". I weighed 110 pounds. I couldn't see over the steering wheel, so I had to get I got this pillow. I put a pillow in there and I would sit on the pillow. And this thing is a boat. If you know what an Oldsmobile Delta 88 looks like, this thing is a tank. Like I hit a deer when I was 16, going 60 miles an hour. Just I mean, hardly anything happened to the vehicle.
Yeah.
Like now, if you did that, like you could possibly die in these cars now. Right?
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
Well, anyway, yeah. So I had that vehicle as my first ever vehicle.
Mine was a 1988 Bonneville SSEI, can't forget
Nice.
the I, and the license plate said SSE. See ya.
Oh my.
That was a Tom Froning.
Did you
though. I'll
do
give it-
that?
No,
Oh,
that was my
your
dad. Yeah, he was pretty cool like me.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that was a boat as well. First job, you said frying pan?
Yeah. So I worked at Frying Pan when I was 16, and then I got promoted to
Head fryer?
cook. I was actually the head, not the head, but I worked the egg grill on the weekends. At front, dude, I can cook. It's the only thing I really can cook good. I don't really like to cook or whatever. Katie usually makes the meals, but I can cook breakfasts. So I work the egg grill. So we're talking I would do crazy 20, 30, over easies, 14 mediums,
Wow.
4 ham and cheese omelets. And I could just crush all these eggs, just cracking eggs. So I'm great at making omelets or anything with eggs. Other than that, I just basically let Katie. So when I was, I think after a year, well anyway, that Frying Pan, if you know where the Frying Pan is on Highway 10.
Oh, okay, it was in Moorhead.
Yeah, the one in Moorhead,
Okay.
or Dilworth. Moorhead, Dilworth, it's
Yeah.
right on the border. That new one, because it used to be on Highway 75, there's an antique shop right there, and this is way before your time. It used to be on Highway 75 north, if you're going, north towards Moorhead Country Club on Highway 75.
Yeah.
After by the Big Lot. So it used to be the antique store. But anyway, on my birthday, I think in 1995, on December 5th, 1995, or somewhere, I'm not sure. On the
Junior in high
day.
school.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5, that Frying Pan opened on Highway 10. When that opened, then I got promoted and I was that cook and I got $7.25 and I thought it was sick, dude.
$7.25. Jeez. In 2006, I won't name names, and I'll give them a break because I was commissioned as well. I got paid $7.25.
There you go. What, 2006?
In 2006.
Yeah, I got that in 95. That was so far ahead of the time. You think that's crazy? Then after that, and after high school, I went to the military. This is 1996. I went to the military. I got to live for free. I got free medical, free dental, and I got to eat 1 or 2 times a day for free, like at the mess hall, right? They added that in your thing. And I got a monthly salary of $1,200. This is in 1996. I thought, I couldn't believe how much money I was getting. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make, I can make like $14,000 a year. This is crazy if I'm in line. I had no concept. I literally came from, my parents didn't have any money. I never got, the coolest thing I ever got was a pair of these suede Nike shoes for basketball. I didn't
Cortezes?
I don't even know. It was so long ago. I have no idea what they were. But you're a shoe guy, you'd have known. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so, when I had that amount of money, I was just blown away. But I was 18 then. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Got out when I was 21, but. So, your car.
My first job was as a Babe Ruth baseball umpire.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I'd be, I totally was calling balls doing the strike symbol, and that really made parents upset. You don't know how hostile parents can be with their child's Babe Ruth baseball. The greatest moment that I enjoyed was asking one to leave. I thought I was really in control. But between...
All right, dude, this is my podcast. I'm not letting you keep asking questions.
Oh, man, I had another one.
All right, let's get some information. If people need to get a hold of you for anything regarding plumbing, HVAC, whatever, or just straight motivation, how do they get a hold of you? Got a business phone number?
701-404-3033.
Perfect. How about email?
Email jt.froning@ferguson.com.
Perfect. That's 701-404-3033 and jt.froning@ferguson.com. jt.froning@ferguson.com. Perfect. That's how we get a hold of you. All right, buddy, another section here. We're going to move along. I have a thing called the Suck OTD. It's called the Super Unknown Question of the Day. SUQOTD. Suck OTD. So what I got is I have 100 questions here. I don't know what they are. Ooh. You don't know what they are. They're basically 100 unanswerable questions that will blow your mind. Some are really funny and simple. Some I have no idea what they are. But the first 2 are kind of funny. So pick a number between 1 and 100. And
66.
Okay, and then really quick, and then I'll read through the question, I'll let you answer, and then I'll kind of answer, and if we need to go to the internet, we'll go to Google, she's pretty smart, then we'll see if we can. Yeah, so you got 66. Let's see what it is. This will be really good. 66, where are you? Okay, if you're American, if you're on an American airline and you land in Canada and stay on the plane, is the drinking age still 21, or does it change to 19?
I was really hoping this question wasn't going to involve any sort of numbers.
It's got to be 18, right? Or 19. It's got to be, right? It has to be. Because if you go there when you're 19, you can drink, right? What do you think, JT? Answer the question. I'm looking up stuff.
Oh, well, I thought you asked Google very quickly. You lost me at numbers, John. I don't really know.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I'm just supposed to guess.
No, what do you think? Do you think it's 18 or do you think it's 21?
You're on Canadian soil. It follows the Canadian rules. It's 18.
That's what you think? Okay, I agree with you.
I double down.
All right, let's see what they're saying. Oh, it's still 21? What? Oh, because the airline's American. That's crazy, dude. You're both wrong. This is according to Legal Cora, which is a legal website, but I don't know the validity of it. But that's crazy, dude. You'd think they would just serve you there.
Yeah.
But once you get out in Canada, and if you're staying there, then you can drink, right?
Well, so interesting. Yeah. So back in my youth days, we'd go to Detroit Lakes in the summer, 4th of July, great spot.
Right.
If you put the boat on the beach, you can drink on the boat, but you can't drink on the beach.
Yeah, that's weird.
So if you have your drink in hand, just stay on the boat.
It's gotta be something with the FAA or the airlines or something, but yeah. So those questions are kind of fun. That one was a little more fun than the last one. We had a Winnie the Pooh discussion, which was kind of interesting.
I was kind of hoping for a Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, really? You don't like that? These ain't even numbers. That's just you gotta think, right? All right, buddy. One more time, if you want to get a hold of JT, you can get a hold of him for any business stuff related, any type of motivation. He will blow your mind. Really cool dude. We got 701-404-3033, and it's jt.froning@ferguson.com. You got anything else before we end this bad boy, JT? What do you got for me? Nothing?
Keep a good attitude. Attitude drives activity, and attitude reflects attitude.
There you have it, ladies and gents. All right, thanks for listening. Till next time, peace.
Peace.
We appreciate you joining us for this episode of the Johnny Miller Audio Experience. You can support the show by supporting your local businesses, especially today's guest. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Johnny_audio and recommend us to a friend. If they own a local business, even better. We look forward to helping your business get the word out right here on the Johnny Miller Audio Experience.